Hey everyone, today we are going to go over how to build customer memorized transactions over to QuickBooks Online. The first step is we need to get over to the customer memorized transaction list. So we're going to click customer info in the top left corner and then head to our memorized transaction list. Now in a previous training video, we discussed how to populate and build our customer memorized transaction list. So we're not going to go over that today. I'm under the assumption that you already have some transactions entered into the system. So the first thing that we need to do is input some parameters into the service program here so that we're selecting the correct customers for our billing. Those parameters would be the last posted by. So if you head to the last posted column, there are two fields. The top field is the beginning date. The bottom field is the ending date. Now you're going to see that I have a different date for Barry Allen under last posted than I do for John Doe. The reason being is because I bill in the arrears, so I bill at the end of the month. So the last posted date is typically going to be the last date of the month. But for John Doe, his last posted date was February 15th. That's because I entered John Doe. He's a new customer. I just added him to the memorized transaction list on the 15th of February. So when we're filling out this parameter here under last posted, we typically want to grab the entire month. That way we can include new customers that we've added within that month. So I'm going to select February 1st as the beginning date and February 28th as the ending date. If you haven't added any new customers and you've already billed, then your last posted date is probably going to be the same across the board. If you bill in the arrears, it would be the last date of each month. If you bill in advance, it would be the first date of each month. You'll also notice that I have a group, a billing group, tied to each transaction here. So that means when we go to actually post these over, I am going to select the in the arrears billing group. It's very possible that you are not going to need to do that. If all of your customers are being billed on the same cycle, then you probably don't have a group set up, so you would not need to select a group from this top drop-down. The next thing that we need to do is input a posting date. Well, I'm billing for the month of March, so I'm going to select March 31st. The last step here on this screen is to select one of these three options. Now, if you're watching this video, that means you use QuickBooks Online, so your instructions are going to be very specific. You have to click the Post to Route Tickets button. You cannot simply click Post to QuickBooks. This Post to QuickBooks button is designed for users who use the service program and integrate with QuickBooks Desktop. So we have our parameters in place. All we need to do is click Post to Route Tickets. The system will say, are you sure you want to post these transactions as route tickets? We're going to select yes. From there, we can now close this screen and then head to Route Info, Tickets Pending to Post. A route ticket in our software is synonymous with an invoice. So as you can see, we have some invoices here, one for John Doe, one for Barry Allen, with their respective charges. At this point, all we need to do is input a date range again, and the date for all of our tickets here should be the posting date that we input on the previous screen. So that is March 31st. We can be very specific with our date range, so we'll do March 31st to March 31st. And then we may have to use this feature right along the top that says post only values over $0. Well, if you have a customer set up on your memorized transaction list, you most likely have a charge associated with them. So all of your customers should have a rate over $0. So in that scenario, we don't really have to focus on this too much. If you had customers that you're invoicing, maybe it's the owner of a company, and you just want to have a record that you've generated an invoice, though you're not really going to charge him, you might have a $0 memorized transaction set up for that customer. And then this option right here would determine whether or not that's included in the billing. The last thing we need to do is input our posting date. So again, we're going to use 3/31. At this point, all we need to do is click the Post to QuickBooks button. The system will verify that we do truly want to post these QuickBooks or post these invoices over to QuickBooks Online. So we'll select yes. That should open up our QuickBooks Online Sync menu. We are billing route tickets. So along the top, we're going to select route tickets. And we should see the transactions here for Barry Allen and John Doe. The last step to this is to get these invoices from this staging area into our QuickBooks Online company file. So all we need to do is click the Post to QuickBooks button. And once we do, you'll see it now says that there's no data to post. So that verifies that the transactions have made it over to your QuickBooks Online company file.